dehydrate it. You take out all the liquid. So essentially what you have, I haven't made one, so I don't have first-hand knowledge, but you pour it in, you dehydrate it, you put that, like, that cardboard backing that you got on temporary tattoos, you put that on the back of it, and then you lift it out. You never touch it until you're ready to apply it. And then only the scar part has any thickness. The rest of it is like so super thin, like a temporary tattoo. It acts as a second skin. And then when you go to apply it, you wet down the area of skin, like you clean and wet it, and then you lay the Prosaid transfer on top of it, and then you use solvent. You use Prosaid solvent to start to remove the edge. And then you don't do all of it, you just do what you want to take away, and as the solvent dries, it literally just like turns into a liquid and melts onto the skin. So there's no seam. There's a texture difference. The Prosaid transfer is shiny, and then you go in and you powder and paint it, but there's no seam. There's no seam. They're amazing. But you can buy them at Spirit, and you get like a pack that has like maybe a bullet hole and like 2 scratches, and I think it's like $15. They're expensive for what they are because they're awesome. But when you have like an endless budget like Guardians of the Galaxy, they can do like full sheets for every single take. Every time he went to go get in makeup, they did full sheets, airbrushed his whole body, and then painted in all the scar detail. Right? I get so jealous watching like movie setups. Like was it Doug Jones who played Pan? Who played Pan in Pan's Labyrinth? This is my movie guy. Can you tell?
It was Doug Jones.
Doug Jones?
Yeah.
Doug Jones, character actor, so he gets crazy makeups done all the time. But if you watch his transformation into Pan from Pan's Labyrinth, there are so many pieces, and he's just chilling. I think he has a pudding cup at one point. He's like on his phone, and they're just like adding like a whole face to him, but it comes in so many pieces. And then doing character transfers like that is when you get into like mixing media, like whatever they use to make the face is going to be different from the horns and weight differences and how it has to adhere to skin. But yeah, Prosaid transfers are like the hot thing right now, and they're awesome. But I mean, what they do for Hollywood movies and what we learn to do as like, you know, independent makeup artists is really not that far off. Like, I've gotten to the point with what I know how to do that I'll watch like Guardians of the Galaxy and be like, are you kidding me? You didn't like barrier spray her armpit and I can see where she wasn't body painted. Yeah. There's a scene, it's Gamora the green one. And she lifts her arm for something. Oh, this is not painted. It wore off.
Oh no.
They missed it. And I'm like, who gets paid for this? Why don't I get paid for this? Yeah. One of the only shows that I watch and I'm like, nope, yep, good job. Is The Walking Dead, but they employ tons of makeup artists. It is a rotating set. And Georgia, in general, is like the hot spot for makeup right now. Georgia. They have like a huge movie industry, and they're like
in Georgia.
Not the state.
The company's
called Georgia.
I thought you meant Georgia. I was like, why there?
like Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, I was like.
Yeah, no, Georgia is
It's
a
hot
company.
They do film a lot in Atlanta, Georgia.
Game shows.
It's very.
Yeah, Steve Harvey filmed all this stuff.
Yeah.
I was like,
Steve Harvey did
Georgia?
that.
Yeah. But Walking Dead is actually filmed in Georgia. Was it
The end of the season was
the
awesome.
prisons? At least the prison season was. I know that.
Except for
Yes, the state.
I have third from the prison.
The prison is in
Yes,
Georgia.
the company Georgia filmed in Georgia.
okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Josh.
The Walking Dead. At least the scene with the prison. Or the season with the prison. That was filmed in the state. And I really like the work that they do, and they do employ tons of practical effects makeup artists. My only gripe with Walking Dead as far as the makeup goes is because it was so popular, everyone started making every zombie look like that. And I was like, you can't, not all of those effects work in reality. Because they can film from a certain perspective, and that's one of the things that, like, once you start doing film kind of work, you can get away with so much more.
Oh, really? I think I do that.
And the thing a lot of people forget is green screen.
Yeah.
Right?
All the like the close-up detailed zombies. It's
They're
like
all green screen.
it's all like edge prosthetics and then green in there, and they go in and computerize the rest
Any
of it.
zombies that
wow.
are missing anything?
That's all
Yeah.
green screened
Yeah.
out.
It's all greened
So like
out.
if they want to make it look like the zombie lost his nose, they'll do a prosthetic here, but the nose is bright green, and then they go in and digitally edit out the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was hard because it's HD, so you have to.
There's a
see
lot.
everything.
No, not at all. Because they can go back in and fix it up after, which we can't do. And also they know exactly where they need to see it from. So like when I was working on like some of the independent films I've worked on, they don't need to see like their ears. They don't need to see the back of their neck.
Also,
They
don't
need,
waste time.
Don't waste time on it. You don't need it. You don't have to do it. And it's like they can get away with so much more.
What
And
about-
yeah.
So what is the difference with like the theatrical makeup that we do, like in special effects, where it has to pop and everything? What's kind of the difference between that and HD, and what should we focus on?
The biggest difference there is lighting. It's something that's totally out of our hands, but like the lighting that we're working with and the time. So in our environment, it's always low lighting because we want it to be very disorienting, and we don't know how long someone's going to look at it. And as much as we love our faces to look awesome and we want them to look awesome, the people who are really scared are scared for like 3 seconds and then never look again because they're scared. So we have to make something very impactful and over the top.
What's the trick to that? 'Cause that's the problem I had last year. Was things were melting all into each other, and I
Yeah.
wanted to be like bam, but it
And then you
didn't.
sort of lose it.
And you look, yeah.
Contrasting
Okay.
colors.
Contrasting colors. That's getting into more of like and
Wanted to share.
art lessons are great. They're like the basic of what we're doing. So and if I'm repeating myself, stop me. But like you make a white whiter by putting it next to black. You make a black darker by putting it next to white because of the contrast. The lines on the highway are white and yellow because you see them better than. Can you imagine like the lines on the highway were green? Like you wouldn't see them. Because they just don't light. Color only comes from light. So even if you do an awesome color face, like if you want to do something in like greens and sickly yellows, and you want to make sure that they have like red polyps and all this stuff, that's great. If you then later find out your actor that you did all of the sickly green yellow skin infection color on is in a room that has one blue LED, you wasted all of your time because color only comes from light. So physics, legitimately, when you turn off the lights, there is no color. Like when we're low light, when humans are seeing in low light, if you were walking in and you saw like that container has a yellow lid, and you know that because the lights are on, and then we turn the lights like super low, you'll look at it and still see it as yellow, but it's not. Our brain is telling us it's yellow because we already know it's yellow. So you're actually not seeing yellow because no light is being bounced off of it to send a yellow light wavelength. Your brain is inputting information that it already knows. So if you didn't know it was yellow,
So
you
like
wouldn't
the
see it.
customers coming in, they wouldn't see.
Yeah. People coming through, they don't know what color it is, they're not going to see it. So even like when we go through and look at our makeup, we're never really going to see it the way people are seeing it.
Yeah.
And
Because we know what we're looking for.
we know what we're looking for. And that's why I do ask people to like stop moving, because I want to see, I know what you look like moving.
Right.
I want to see how the makeup is holding up. Like I also want to see like how comfortable is it, what's sweating off, what colors actually show in this room, how is this lighting. Some of our rooms are lit in a color. So say it's a blue room. I think the bathroom in Brigham was lit in like a blue LED.
Yeah. Bathroom was blue, and then like every
The
third
kitchen was
room.
like red.
Yeah, every third room had the exit sign in it, so it was red washed.
Right,
So
because there's
any-
actually no light. They have to have an exit sign for like OSHA standards.
Yeah.
So you paint someone in green, you put them in a blue room, you're not going to see any of it. They're going to neutralize. You paint someone red, put them in or paint someone green, put them in a red room, you're not going to see anything because those are opposite colors.